Okay, so let's dive into this really fascinating ancient story. It reveals a deep conflict about how we see the world, a conflict that the source material we're looking at argues is still raging today. Our whole story really kicks off with a puzzle. You've got a king who finds a lost holy book, and he needs to confirm its terrifying warnings. Now, he has a divine tool for a simple yes or no answer, so why does he go to a human prophet instead? And the answer to that question, well, it peels back all these layers on a historical event to show this huge clash between two opposing worldviews, a clash about the very nature of reality. All right, so let's set the scene. We're in ancient Judah. A king named Josiah is on the throne, and he's described as a really good and godly guy. So they're doing some renovations on the temple, and his high priest finds this lost scroll, a book of the law. When they read it to King Josiah, he is so completely distraught by its warnings of judgment for the nation's sins that he tears his royal clothes. I mean, this is a profound sign of absolute grief and horror. So Josiah immediately sends his officials to figure out what this discovery really means for his people. And this is where we get right back to that initial puzzle. They had a choice, right? They could have used something called the Urim and Thummim. Think of it as a kind of sacred dice to get a simple answer. Yes, this book is authentic. But instead, they go to a prophetess named Huldah. So why? Because, you see, they weren't looking for a simple yes or no. And Huldah's response is so telling. She doesn't just say, yep, the book's legit. No, she confirms that the disaster it promises is absolutely coming. She gives them the context, the meaning, and the devastating consequences. And this reveals everything about Josiah's mindset. I mean, the act of tearing his robes, that showed he had already accepted the book as the word of God. For him, authenticity was not even a question. He wasn't asking about the book's past. He was absolutely terrified about his nation's future. He was asking about the consequences. The book was like the alarm clock blaring in his ear, and Huldah's job was to tell him just how little time was left before it was too late. Now, Huldah's prophecy, it points to one single root cause for this whole coming disaster: idolatry. But the source material argues that we often get what that really means all wrong. It's way more than just a statue. So this isn't about just bowing to an object. According to this interpretation, idolatry is a complete world view, a different operating system for reality. It assumes that the cosmos, humans, nature, the divine, it's all one interconnected system. The goal, then, is to figure out how to magically manipulate that system to serve your own needs. And this brings us right to the absolute heart of the conflict. The source presents it as two fundamentally incompatible ways of seeing everything. So on one side, you have that idolatrous view, where the divine is part of the world, and the whole goal is to manipulate it. But on the other, you have the biblical view, where a creator exists entirely outside and separate from the cosmos he made. And here, the goal isn't control, it's trust in his design and its boundaries. Now, the source takes this idea a step further. It connects that idolatrous worldview to a rejection of all boundaries. The argument being made is that if you believe everything is fundamentally one substance, then the distinctions you find in a created order, like between humans and animals or within family structures, those can be seen as just illusions that you need to overcome. And from that perspective, violating those boundaries actually becomes a way of denying that a created order even exists. So, the crucial point here, the perspective being presented, is that there are no other options. There's no third way, no middle ground. You either believe God and the world are one big interconnected thing to be manipulated, or you believe they are fundamentally separate. So how did this all play out? Well, armed with Huldah's terrifying prophecy, King Josiah launches this massive top-down religious reform. And the text is so explicit about Josiah's personal commitment. This was no political stunt for him. He stands, he makes a covenant, he pledges his entire being, all his heart and all his soul, to following God's law. His reform was 100% sincere. But then we get this fascinating little line about the people. The original Hebrew text says they stood in the covenant. It doesn't say they made it or that they pledged themselves to it. They just stood. And Dr. Oswalt's interpretation of this is so powerful. They weren't active participants. They were spectators. They just stood by and watched their king make a promise to God. And this lack of participation is just striking. I mean, throughout the entire, very detailed account of this reform, purging idols, tearing down shrines, restoring worship, every single action is performed by the king. The people's own initiative is mentioned exactly 0 times. You can just see the disconnect here, can't you? Josiah's reform was this genuine personal transformation, a total commitment. But for the nation, it really just seems to have been external compliance. They went along with it, but they didn't own it. The interpretation here is that they never truly, deeply repudiated that idolatrous worldview of the generations before them. They just changed their outward behavior because the king, the person in charge, told them to. But the root system of their beliefs, it was left completely untouched. And this is the ultimate takeaway from the story. This is why, after Josiah dies, the nation just collapses right back into its old ways so quickly. An external reform without an internal, heartfelt shift in worldview is temporary at best. Which really leaves us with this final thought that just echoes from King Josiah's time right into our own. What does it truly take to change not just what people do, but the fundamental beliefs that drive why they do it?